Yes, my people, it's Cecil G from AFTV, and you're watching Eddie Vision TV. Love.
All right, greetings, sports fans. Welcome back to Eddie Vision TV, the channel where we look at sports differently. Today, we'll be taking a different look into sports, you know what I mean, and especially getting players. And I have a special guest with me today, Ian Campbell. Mr. Campbell, how are you doing?
I'm good now. How are you, Eddie?
Fighting the heat, trying to beat the heat. And
Same here, man. Same here.
And if you guys watching this on Labor Day, happy Labor Day. I hope you got a lot of work done. So I'm trying to get my work done here. So, Mr. Campbell, tell us about your previous engagement and how you kind of work with players somewhat. I know you have a history of helping players to get their documentation and all of that to represent the Jamaica REGGAE boys. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I'm an employee of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. I served in a few overseas offices. One of my functions was to carry out consular services. And since I left, I got engaged with Mr. Devon Porter. And from there, I start essentially helping players to get naturalized. Of course, complimentary. It's something I love doing, and I just help the players to get naturalized, essentially, who want to be helped.
Yeah, and I must say kudos to you and Mr. Porter for doing such a good work over the years, and on behalf of all the REGGAE boy fans, big up and good work. For the viewers, tell us some of the players that you helped get over the line.
Kevin Stewart comes to mind because that was the quickest one, to be honest. It took like 20 odd days to come through. That was
Wow.
before COVID, essentially. Yeah. But since then, since COVID, things have gotten more challenging, essentially, in having players naturalized. He's one. Omari Hutchinson comes to mind. Dexter Lembekisa comes to mind. There are several players. Several players. Deshaun Bernard is another one. Joe Latibodier. We assisted Damari Gray as well. There's several players. Many players were assisted through myself and Mr. Porter in different ways, essentially.
All right. So, folks, you got an idea there. A lot of players, a lot of big names. So, in terms of qualifying, who qualifies for Jamaican citizenship? What are some of the requirements?
All right. So, regarding Jamaican citizenship, the focus is that having a Jamaican heritage through grandparents or parents, essentially, and linking the player essentially to the parent or grandparent through official documents. Official documents, as in a birth certificate. That's the primary document. So if you look on, say, John's birth certificate, who's a player, you'll see his father's name, Jerry, who was born in Jamaica, that linked him to Jamaica. Say Jerry, the father, wasn't born in Jamaica, and Larry, the grandfather, was born in Jamaica. You look at Jerry's birth as well and see Larry's name on it. So once those names line up, supporting documents are there for a player to apply for his or her Jamaican citizenship.
What are some of the difficulties players have, especially in the diaspora, in terms of getting the paperwork done?
Well, the thing is that because most players apply through grandparents, they find it challenging at times to find said documents. Situations will arise whereby the birth certificate can't be located any at all. Grandparents deceased, so it becomes difficult to find documents. That's the primary problem. Sorry, locating documents. Sometimes you find the documents and there are misspellings, which of course can't work, or documents are not legible. Yeah, so they require new ones, or situations whereby for our grandparents, you'll find that there's no surname on the document, which of course can't work. Therefore, the RGD will get involved in the process, which again will delay them applying for their citizenship, essentially.
Okay, so if you're going through, say, the father and the mother, that usually is a little bit quicker, right?
It's easier. Yeah, it's easier, yes. So long as the documents are in place.
What about timeline? I know you mentioned that it can take 20 days. You know, what is the general timeline like?
Well, firstly, that example I gave you with Kevin Stewart, that is in the past. Timeline for citizenship, it is 25 business days. That is when the documents reach PICA. Right. Yeah. For passport, it's 20 working days. Again, when documents reach PICA.
Okay. So the important thing is to get the documents together.
Right. Correct.
What would you say is the eagerness level of players to submit information? You find it difficult that they find it hard to put the documents together?
Well, it depends on the player and the personality. Some players are very determined to have themselves naturalized, whereas some players will rely on their agents centrally to answer the processing on their behalf. Yeah.
Right.
So when dealing with players directly, it's usually easier because you're dealing directly with the player and their families. Some of them up to go through their agents, which sometimes take longer, essentially. Yeah. But some players, it depends on the personality of the player, essentially.
So essentially, they will need somebody to help them walk through the process.
Yes, most times. In some instances, no. Because, for instance, let's say your father was born in Jamaica, right? And you're applying for your citizenship. That's very, very straightforward. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The father's birth certificate, your birth certificate, government issued IDs, fill the forms out, have the photographs ready, go in for your appointment, you pay for the services, and that's it. So anybody can actually do that. But the thing is that in most cases, there are issues, unfortunately. Yeah. And the players require assistance.
Right. So what are some of your recommendations? How can they speed up the process? What's the best way?
Well, in my opinion, you would need policy change, and policy change at the upper level, essentially. That's my recommendation, because I don't want to say indicate anything that I think can actually be used to expedite processes. It's a matter of policy change. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I don't want to go in details with that's concerned.
Yeah, I'm glad they bring up policy change. Could the use of DNA, would that be possible to confirm, heritage?
Yes, definitely, it can. Definitely. Definitely. It can. In fact, recently is a case that a player was naturalized and DNA came into play. Yeah, it actually came into play. Our documents were submitted, of course, but DNA evidence was actually brought into the picture. But it's not something that's a requirement currently.
All right, so Ian, is there currently a proper, would you say a proper relationship between the JFF and PICA?
Sure, there is
Yeah.
one. I think so. I think so because the administration at the Football Federation and PICA, they have a working rapport that I think is meaningful.
Right. But because you might have times where fans might think that, might feel like the JFF is not doing enough.
I think they try. I think the federation actually tries to assist players where possible, in my opinion.
Okay. Lastly, advice you would give potential players that have Jamaican heritage and want to make the switch.
Well, my advice would be to gather supporting documents before you venture to apply for Jamaican citizenship. That's pivotal.
All right. Is there anything that you want to tell the public? Are you guys currently working on any players? Because I know a person's going to ask me about this particular player. I know you know who I'm talking, Mr. Greenwood.
I can't speak on players, Eddie. I think you know that.
Yeah. I know. I just asking the question, you know. So I want to thank Mr. Ian Campbell, you know, for taking time out of his busy schedule to have a talk with us about getting players and what's required, both from the players and the federation point of view, and some of the challenges that these players will face. Ian, big up yourself.
All right, man. Take care. Nice talking to you.
All right. That's it, folks. You know the drill. Like, share, and subscribe. That was Ian Campbell. I'm Eddie Gona, and we're out.